Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Chat with Kat, where I have real chats with real people about real life. And today I have on one of my best friends in the whole world. I'll let him tell you how we met and bonded our friendship. But his name is Rudy Gunn. He's a performer, he's an entertainer, he's always been business and entrepreneurial minded. When he takes action on something, he means business, guys. You're going to get a ton of value from our conversation today. So, welcome, Rudy.
Well, thanks for having me, Kat. I don't know if we should even tell the story about how we met because it was a little weird.
I think
I
it's a
don't know if
great
that'll.
icebreaker.
Okay, so we were working in an office together, and I had really crazy problems with my stomach, with my gut,
Hmm.
and so I run to the bathroom, and Kat is like a couple rooms, I guess, offices over from there, and I just let the biggest one rip. Okay, like it was so loud that probably like you could have heard it 2 city blocks away. And so I'm all embarrassed because I'm like, like my stomach, I'm having issues. I'm all embarrassed. I don't want to come out of this bathroom. But then I hear this cackle coming from offices, like 3 offices down, and it's Cat. It's Cat. Cat's laughing like crazy. So then I come out and I'm like kind of red in the face. I'm like, oh, that was embarrassing. And she's like, we are besties now. I'm like, what? Yeah, we're besties now. That was so funny. And I'm like, I'm glad you found my mishap funny. So then we became friends, and yeah, the
So,
rest has been history, I guess. I
who
guess
said,
that's the best way of putting it.
farting can't bring people together? A lot of people think it's gross, but sometimes you meet your bestie.
Yep, I guess so. So
Yeah. So I know
alrighty.
you and I were going to have an interesting conversation today about some really controversial shit, which I'm excited about because I've been wanting to do this forever. But before we get started, I want people to know about you, what it is that got you to the stage in your life, what you're passionate about, all of that.
Okay, cool. So, basically, I'm a Canadian country singer. I am known to be a little controversial. I'm neither left or right. I'm kind of in the middle, but I do call out stuff or shit as it happens, and people don't always like it. But I'm just really, really focused on following my passion. I've been doing it for 33 years. Finally had my first couple hits here recently, and my first single made it to number one on the Canadian Independent Country Chart, number three on the Billboard Top 25 Country English Chart, and now my second single is at number four on the Billboard Country Chart, which is pretty crazy. We got a new one coming out here in a couple of weeks as well, so that's exciting. And just yeah, living my dream. And I'm doing a business during the week where I'm doing high ticket sales. So that kind of funds my passion, where I could spend minimal amount of time uh, doing a business and make a lot of money. So that way I can fund all my music career. And the reason I'm doing that is that I don't really believe too much in record labels. Okay. And if you're a record label and watching this, give me a better deal because the deals that I'm seeing, man, like people, like friends of mine, they're getting deals, $2 million deals, and it's over 6 years, and they got to pump out 6 albums. And basically, the record label, it's like a bad student loan. They lend you the money up front to record, they lend you the money for your tour bus, for your tours, and all that stuff. And it's great to build a fan base. But at the end of the day, the artist doesn't get paid until any of those costs are recouped by the record label. So it's kind of like a bad student loan. You're working, 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 slaving, and you're not making any money really until all that money is paid back. Or they just keep
Mhm.
dumping more money into billboards, and a lot of it is payola as well. Like if we talk about the Beyonce thing, like there was a massive amount of money paid to radio to play her that would have never made it on country radio if it wasn't. And I'm not saying she's not a great artist; she's a fantastic artist. But the music that she was releasing in the country realm wasn't actually country. It was pop with a banjo. And it was paid to be on radio. And it's unfortunate when you have other artists that are really, really pushing. And again, like I'm saying, she's a great artist, great performer. Just that wasn't really the genre that best suits her. And it wasn't really that great of a country song. It was a great pop song and dance song, though. You can sing along with it, you can do all that stuff, and great maybe for the bar, but didn't really fit the genre that they described it as. And So I have no problem calling that stuff out. I don't want to put people down. Like I said, great artists as well, but you gotta kind of like call out some of this stuff because there's so much bullshit in the industry and in the world in general that if people don't speak
Yeah.
up, you're everything's gonna just collapse on each other, and you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
That's a little bit about me. I posted a picture last week of Donald Trump getting shot in the ear, and I lost like 200 followers within an hour. And my caption wasn't even like I support Trump, I support Biden, because I don't. Like I'm in the middle. I don't care. My caption was that violence should never be the answer. You
Right.
should vote for who you want to vote for. Whatever you believe in is totally fine. It doesn't matter to me if you're left, right. You're going to get crazies on both sides. And vote for what you want to believe in. And that's that. And violence should never be even an option. Let people rally in peace. If it was Joe Biden, I would have posted the exact same thing. But just because I posted the picture of Trump, people assume that I'm a Trump supporter, which, like I
Yeah.
said, I don't. I'm in Canada. I can't vote for either of these guys anyway. Um, so like people were just like, I don't like that face. Followers gone. And I don't care. I'm just like,
Yeah.
bye. I don't care, you know?
Well, that's the beauty of it is we all get to stand up for what we believe in. And then the other side of it is that it doesn't matter what you believe in. You can be compassionate to other people and understand their perspective and their point of view without causing hate, without bullying, without violence, without all of these things that are going on in our world today. And the reason that we wanted to start this conversation was because I went on a social detox for 4 days to disconnect, to reconnect. And I was having a conversation with Rudy about it and talking about our phone and our computer. And he brought up such a good point that these things were meant to connect us and it disconnects us even more from people. So let's touch on that.
Mhm. Yeah, so basically, like social media was created to bring people together and to keep close tabs on your family and connect and all that stuff. And really, what it's doing, it's distancing people from each other. It's disconnecting people. So you think you're right there and you can connect with them, and that's great. Like maybe if they're living on the other side of the world, then social media would be beneficial because you can like video call each other and things like that. Apps like FaceTime or WhatsApp or whatever, or even Facebook or any of these platforms. You can connect that way. However, when it comes to your everyday people that you normally see and hang around, people they disconnect now. They just check out what you're doing on social. People are living fake lifestyles. Who they are on social is often not who they are in real person. There's filters now. They change your face completely to the point where if you were to see that person in real life, it wouldn't even be the same person you're following on social media because they're living this fake lifestyle of all these different things, and they only show what they want you to show. They don't talk about the bad things. Most people never talk about the things that aren't going good in their life. They're talking about all these fake things to make themselves look like a martyr to everybody. And that's just not how real life works. And, you know, I try to do the opposite. I don't use filters on my face. I post different things. I post some of my music journey, some of my struggles, some of my things that are going well, some things that aren't going well, family stuff. I love posting about my family a little bit here and there and like, hey, I got this time freedom to focus on my music and spend time with my kid. And here's a picture of her on my shoulder while I'm walking around in a cowboy hat. Like, you know, um, I like to have a healthy balance there. And then of course I'm traveling, but it's not just like crazy lifestyle stuff and this and that. And one thing I talk about a lot that people typically don't is I talk a lot about mental health and depression and anxiety and things that are like seeping into people's brains and that voice in their head that they can't push away, and it's just not talked about enough because all we focus on is what everybody wants you to see, whether it's
Yeah.
people or whether it's the government, or and everything is a mask around you. It's like, how much do you want to participate in this mask and how much of the real you do you want to show? And I think it's important to show the real you. So social media is definitely like, it's disconnecting people when it should be bringing them together. It's pushing them further apart, right?
Yeah. Well, and I like what you said about the mask thing because one thing that I really work on with people too is their limitations because the only thing that you face every day is your own mindset. Like whether I woke up and went to the gym doesn't concern you. How many reps I did doesn't concern you. You don't care at the end of the day if I had a great workout, if I had a shit workout, because you already have everything going on in your own mind. So it's so important to realize that not only are we battling our own mindset every single day, but everything we do to avoid listening to it, confronting it, embracing it, because it's all a part of who we are. We get distracted. So we pick up our phones, we go watch a movie, we go do all these things outside of us in search of this feeling, of this connection. A lot of people want to feel like connected and supported and safe and all of these things, and yet we're seeking it in all the wrong ways.
Yeah, the days of like human connection are virtually gone. Like, we've got AI seeping into everything, and AI can be great for the right reasons if you're using it as tools
Oh,
to be able to scale things that you're doing, right? Then it's a great thing, right? For example, I use a thing now with my band where we can we can rehearse from our own studios, and it's perfectly in sync, and we see each other on video, so we're still seeing each other. But instead of driving 2 to 3 hours, all the bandmates getting together for a rehearsal once a week, we can jump on an app, a program, and our studios are connected. I'm singing, my guitar player's playing guitar, my piano player's there, my drummer has an electric drum kit so we can hear him play. Everything is tied together. We can rehearse and we can go, okay, guys, tonight we're rehearsing an hour, go through these songs, make sure they're tight for the show this weekend, and we don't have to drive. So when it comes to technology and AI, that can be a great thing. Plus, you're not driving, you're not stuck in traffic, you're not burning gas, you're not wasting money, and you're collapsing your time frame. That's when it's great. When it's not great is when we are relying on AI to do things for us, and the human race as a whole is becoming more and more stupid because there's something called the Flynn effect. And what the Flynn effect is basically the level of intelligence that the human race has reached before they start declining in intelligence. And I think we've reached that a long time ago now. It's at the point where people are so reliant on looking at their phones and staring at their phones, asking their phones for questions, that they don't think themselves as much anymore as they should. And the critical thinking and common sense is just kind of disappearing in a lot of people, especially the younger generation. That is unfortunate when it comes to technology and connecting and disconnecting. Now, one thing that I find super interesting is, 20 years ago, everybody in my neighborhood would say hi to each other. Hey, how you doing, neighbor?
wow.
You want to come over for a barbecue? We could leave our doors unlocked, leave our cars unlocked. There's never an issue. Once in a while there'd be some petty crime here and there. I've heard of one shooting in my hometown, and like the entire time I lived there growing up as a kid. Now it's like every week there's a robbery at the mall, an armed robbery at the mall. There's shootings. Like I heard 5 gunshots the other day while I was sleeping, like, and I'm in a decent area. I'm not even a bad area. And it's people are so disconnected from each other that the human touch is there, like isn't there anymore. It's gone. And when that's gone, you're gonna see more things like crime. You're gonna see more things like mental health and mental illness going at an all-time high because the human connection is totally gone. And people are living behind this facade, which is often social media. And I think that's very, very interesting that, I felt safer walking around in a little village in Mexico where everybody's worried about cartel and all these different things. I felt safer walking around in the middle of the night in a village in Mexico than I do walking in my own neighborhood in Canada,
Yeah, it's
because
not
there
wrong.
people aren't focused on social media and all these things. So the human connection's still there. Everybody still says hi to each other. You still get a sense of community, and you don't have that as much anymore here.
Yeah, I would agree too. Like anytime you go somewhere and you even smile at somebody, they're so wrapped up in their own mind, they don't even like, they're looking through you as you walk by. Or like you hold the door for somebody when you go somewhere and there's just nothing. Like there's no
Yeah, not even
interaction.
like, hey, thank you so much. Like it's not it's like we live in a sense of entitlement now, and it's very very interesting to see that shift, that paradigm shift that has happened, but I think it has happened in all the wrong directions. And We see all these different things, and not to get too political, but we see all these different things, all these different organizations. We've got the LGBTQ organization, we've got the All Children or All Lives Matter, we've got All Children Matter, Black Lives Matter, we've got all these different organizations that are out there right now that are supposed to bring people together, right? And respect each other and bring people together. But
Yeah.
it's actually doing the contrary. It's actually pushing people apart and segregating them.
Yeah.
So we've got all these different flags we're flying. And like, I live across from a school, like an elementary school. And every month there's a different flag. And it's okay. I have no problem with supporting people and all that. And I think it is important to love and respect everybody. But the issue is that when we have these big organizations like that, it's actually segregating themselves. Like Black Lives Matter. Why is that even still a thing? And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I'm saying, why is that whole thing still a thing? As in, why do they need to have their own organization to say we matter when it's 2024? Everybody should be treated equal at this point. And I know there's an issue where, parts of the world that's not a thing, but it's 2024. It doesn't matter if you're white, black, brown, yellow, purple, orange. Trump's orange. It doesn't matter what color you are, right? Everybody is the same color on the inside. We're all bleeding red.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if I have a water bottle, if a water bottle is black, white, yellow, purple, the contents on the inside still the same. So what difference does it make? We need to start treating people like people. And instead of, having all these different organizations where it's like, I want to be accepted, we need to just accept. The only flag that we should
Yeah.
have in Canada or the US should be the Canadian or the American flag. And that should represent everybody. That should include everybody and say everybody is welcome here, everybody's loved here, and everybody's Canadian or everybody's American. And I think the more of these things that are popping up, the more the mental illness goes on the rise too, because it's actually segregating them from what they want to be included for. Everybody should just be respected and loved. And, that's a crazy rant, but that's how I feel about it. And then people go, you're a bigot and blah, blah, blah. You don't support Black Lives Matter. I'm like, did you just not listen to what I just said? Like, you don't support LGBT. I totally support everybody. And I think that everybody should be included and everybody should be treated equal,
Yeah,
but
because
not by
people
segregating yourself, because then
only
you're
want to
going
hear
against what you're trying to do.
they only want to hear the narrative that's in their head. And the only reason that narrative is in their head is because the agenda was pushed. If there was
Right.
no Black Lives Matter, no Pride Month, no this, no that, there wouldn't be a reason to stand up for it. And I think that's what's not resonating in people's brains is that these agendas are being pushed to separate you because then you have
Mm,
something to stand up for that you believe in when what we all could believe in is we're all human beings. That's it. It's as
that's
simple
it.
as that.
It is as simple as that. And in the business that I do during the week that, I used to fund my music career, my two main business partners, my one business partner, a black guy, and the other guy is an Asian guy from Bali. And I'm white. We've got like the perfect diversification, but we're not like, hey, go cheer on one team and run around with flags. We're just like we're all live in Canada. We all have the same equal opportunity. It doesn't matter what our background is. It doesn't matter what the color of our skin is. We're all born around the same time. None of us were born in the 1800s. We're all born in the 1900s or early 2000s, and we all have the same equal opportunity in Canada, and in the States it's the same thing. And the narrative that's being pushed that it isn't, I think is crazy in 2024, because you should be hiring people based on their skill set, not the color of their skin, right? And I think when they try to do all that inclusion, they're going about it the wrong way. Because if I am flying with an airline, I want the airline to hire the best pilot they can hire, not based on whether they're 5 feet tall or 6'4", or whether they're black or brown or white or, Asian or whatever the case might be. They should be hired based on their skill set. And everybody now has an equal opportunity. There's, even if you come from an area that maybe you come from low income, let's say you're from a black neighborhood in Detroit or something like that. There's crazy amount of funding for scholarships for Black children, things like that, to create those equal opportunities. It's that you have to go after it. And it's not that there's lack of resources available now, it's lack of effort and lack of energy. And it doesn't matter who you are. If I'm not willing to put effort into my business and I'm not willing to put effort into my career, I'm not going to go anywhere either. And then I can't say, oh, I'm just I'm underprivileged or anything. Like we're in 2024. Everybody's equal and we should only have that one flag and we should all treat each other with respect and we should help each other and leverage and give each other a hand up, not a hand out. And I think that's the most important part is a lot of people are looking for handouts when they should be looking for a hand up in life. Um,
That's a
that's
great
just
point.
that's where the world's going right now.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to ask you on that too, I think you already kind of touched on it, is like you say there's more business opportunities now for people online. So that is one of the benefits of having your phone or your computer to connect because you can connect literally all over the world now. However, what I'm finding too is that you have to do the work and you have to do the inner work for yourself to believe in yourself, but you do that by taking action on the opportunity and learning the skills, understanding what it is that you need to do each day. It's like when you went to school, they made you read the book to understand the book. But where did we go from going and learning all this stuff in school to then not applying it in our own life to be successful and smart and empowered and have opportunity? There's more equal opportunity now for people than there ever has been before. But the problem is that, like you said, they want to hand out rather than lifting themselves up and showing themselves what they're capable of doing and being in this life. And it's honestly like so sad to see because if you find a business that you're passionate about and you believe in, you will succeed at it. That's it. So do you think that
Right.
people are just not taking the action? They're not believing in themselves because they see other people doing all this stuff online and they automatically count themselves out.
Yeah, I think it's comfort zone for a lot of people. They're comfortable where they're at. They're comfortable with a 9 to 5. They're comfortable with, having a steady paycheck. They're comfortable with, but they think they have job security. There's no such thing as job security in 2024. That people can be let go as quickly as they get hired. Everybody's a number. At the end of the day, most businesses look at numbers. They don't look at the people anymore. The human connection's completely gone. And, unless you're working for maybe like a Japanese company like Toyota or something where they have gyms and family things and they're very family oriented. But overall, most places you're just a number. And I think you're 100% correct. You can give people all the tools that they need, but unless they're willing to take that action instead of just looking for a handout, they're not going to get anywhere. And, to be successful in business, you got to have that burning desire. You got to have a will to learn, a will to win, and you got to be coachable. And if you're coachable, that's great, but if you're still not putting in the action, you're still not going to be successful. For example, if I was to let's say I was a really, really, really generous rich guy, right? Or rich woman, whatever. Um, and I put $1 million on a sidewalk in front of a group of people. And I go, take as much money as you want. You know how many of those people would actually stuff their pockets and how many would stand on the sidelines and go, I think this is a scam. And they stand there with their hands in their pockets instead of stuffing their pockets because they assume before they actually look at the full picture. And if they were to go, oh, like you're actually just generous handing out money? Yeah. Oh, well, I thought it was a scam. So, like rich people are getting richer because poor people think that everything is a scam. And I'm not saying poor as in financially poor. I'm saying it as uh, like mindset is poor. The mindset hasn't been developed in a way that they can lead themselves. And the way that you can build your mindset and your belief is doing like courses like you're doing about burning bad beliefs, about figuring out and tap rooting into your brain and like, what's the next step? How can I leverage this? How can I get better? And reading books, podcasts. There's so many people like Andy Frisella, Ed Milet, Tony Robbins. The list goes on and on and on about mindset and perseverance and just like, overcoming the voice inside your head. And
Yeah.
we all have that voice. I wrote a song called The Noonday Devil, and it's going to be on one of my future albums. And Noonday Devil is about, it's actually a reference, it's a Bible reference, but it's actually the voice inside your head that tells you you can't. It could be depression, it could be anxiety, it could be addiction. It's that voice that tries to keep you down, that I got to get out of bed, but the voice in my head says, no, I need to crawl up and hide. I got to go to the gym, but I don't want to. It's the voice that stops you from greatness. So I wrote a song about that. I have a long history with depression myself, and it resonated really well with me. And every line in that song is about that voice,
Yeah.
whatever that voice means to you. And that's going to be on a future album. And I think so many people are dealing with that. And, you got to learn how to overcome that. And you got to learn how to kick that noonday devil, that voice inside your head, to the curb. And once you can, start believing in yourself, you can start changing the things around you. Because at the end of the day, you can change your car, you can change your house, you can change your spouse, you can change the neighborhood you live in, the country you live in, everything. You can change everything. But if you don't change what's on the inside, none of that matters, because the inside is what's going to make you happy. Nothing on the outside is going to make you happy. I see it all the time. You see people moving. They go, I want to move somewhere nice. I don't like Canada. I'm moving to Mexico. And then they're still miserable. Why?
Yeah.
Because they didn't change what's between their ears. They didn't change their way of thinking. They didn't change their mindset. They just, think, oh, I'm going to go somewhere else. It's going to make me happy. What's not? You got to fix this, the 6 inches between your ears, or if you have a big head, maybe 7 inches. You got to, you got to fix
No one
that before
complained
you can
about
fix
seven
what's on the
inches.
outside.
No, that's so true. And I love that you were inspired to write about that journey because that's going to really inspire and resonate with so many people. I'm actually really excited for when it comes out. I'll be your biggest supporter on that. And I love that you are open to talking about that because depression, anxiety, stress, fear, doubt, worry, all of these things are created as guidance. And that is something that I teach people too, is like, if you're in that state, it's just showing you what you don't want. And it's as simple as, okay, well, what do I want? And you have to just make those switches and stop being distracted by everything outside of you. And like you said, like I would love to not live here in winter. If any of you know in Canada, yeah, But if
If
I
you know,
moved
you
to
know.
Mexico, yeah, if you know. It's not fun, but I have the opportunity to go move somewhere else. I could go even a province over to BC. It's not going to be as cold. There's not going to be the snow that we get. The thing is, I have to make the choice to do it. I have to do it.
Yeah,
And I can't sit here. The thing is that people get so wrapped up in like complaining. You can't complain on both sides. You can't play the victim and then complain when you make a decision that you're still not happy. It's one or the
right.
other. But I think people are living in such this victim mentality where it's like everything is being done to me, nothing outside of me is making me happy. And then it either deters them from making any changes or decisions, which I find it funny because do you change your fucking clothes every day? Do you change your underwear every day? So when people tell me, oh, I'm too scared to make change, you do change every single day. You might have to change the route you take to work. You change your underwear. You change the time that you do things at every single day. I can guarantee it. You change the way you talk to people. You don't say the same thing to people every single day. So
Right.
when
Yeah,
people think they're like,
you're not a robot. You're not living in the Truman Show where you're just on a cycle going doing the same thing over and over again.
yeah,
Um, people do change their things, and the only thing that you can control in your day is how your day starts and how your day finishes. You can have a good routine in the morning, you can have a good routine in the evening, whether it's, waking up, making a cup of coffee, reading a book, listening to a podcast, just getting your head in a like headspace. I like to go sit on the couch and just try to recuperate in my head how my day is going to play out and the things that I need to do, and kind of reflect on how day went yesterday. That's usually what I do in the morning when I first wake up. Um, I don't personally read a lot of books anymore. I used to. I've been through that phase. I'm taking a break from that a little bit. I should probably get back to it. So I can't say like everybody's got to read a book and everybody's got to listen to. Everybody's different. And that's the beauty about this world, is everybody's a little different. Maybe you like to read, my spouse likes to read. before bed. She likes to read in the morning. She likes to read whenever she can read. Um, I like to listen to podcasts while I'm driving. You know, I like to listen to other artists while driving to go, hey, I really like this style. I really like the message. And what I find is for me as an artist, there's music that's just danceable music that is all about the beat. A lot of dance music, EDM, stuff like that. Great music if you want to just dance and be in a good energy. And then there's music that has really, really strong lyrics. And for me as an artist, I am doing 4 different albums right now, and they're all a little bit different. And, one album is a honky tonk revival type of album. That's going to be your 90s sounding country with the violins and the kind of Alan Jackson, Brad Paisley type of stuff. Um, it's very like two-stepping music, line dancing, very retro country sound that you would have heard in the 90s. Okay. Then the second album is my summer sing-along album, I call it. I don't have a name for it yet, writing for it right now, but that's all those songs that are just about, having tailgate parties and bush parties and having a fun time. And they're the typical sing along type of stuff, like the Luke Bryan, the Cole Swindell vibes of music. So that's going to go towards a completely different audience. Now, I'm going to have a lot of overlap. People going, Rudy's doing different things as an artist, but I'm going to have people that are going to hate one album and love the other. Are they
Yeah.
going to go, wow, why is he doing this album about drinking beer on a tailgate? And this other album is 90s. And then there's the Dark album, which is going to be all about social issues. But the way it's written, if you listen to this album, you may not even know. It's just going to be great songs you can sing along with. But if you look at every single line of every single song and every single word in those lines, you're going to go, oh, there's a double meaning to this,
Yeah.
right? There's a double meaning to this. So there's Noonday Devil is going to be on there, and that album is going to be more country rock. It's almost going to be a crossover between, uh, I guess, rock and hard rock, but still has the ballad feel of country with the
Yeah.
violins and stuff like. So it's a very like. It's going to be one of those albums that if you go to a concert and you go, I don't like country music, I hate country music, you're going to love this album, but you may not like any of the other 3 albums.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So another song on there that I wrote is called Winter Called She Wants Summer Back. Now that could be winter could be a person, summer could be a person,
Yep.
right? Because I know people by those names. However, winter could also be depression,
Yep.
summer could be the good times. So winter calls, she wants summer back, right? Everything is coming down. It's getting cold. It's getting dark. The days are getting shorter. The nights are getting longer is one of the lines in there. Well, what does that mean? Well, the days, like the physical day, is getting shorter. There's less light, but it also means less light in someone's life. The nights are getting longer. It also would be a double meaning, like people that are going through anxiety, they're going through depression, spend more time in bed in their bedroom with the door shut, hiding from their world because that's what happens when winter seeps into your brain. So like everything in that album is a double meaning, but you may not realize it the first 3, 4 times you listen to it. And then if you look at the lyrics, you're gonna go, wow, like that's crazy because that's me. And once you click and understand that, you can look at the same album from 2, 3 different angles and connect with it. And then there's a fourth album, which is going to be somewhere in the realm of being a parent. I'm a new parent, so it's going to be about raising kids, about watching children grow up way too quick, and everything that the mommies and the daddies can relate to. A song on there called "Child of Mine" that my mother wrote 30 years ago that we're going to release, which is going to be absolutely crazy. Um, so yeah, I'm super excited to do 4 albums and everything's a little bit different, but
Yeah.
it's addressing those social issues. The Dark album, there's gonna be a song on there called "Don't Take the Girl," and you might go, "Oh, don't take the girl," whatever. Like it's a song, but it's about all the issues that are going on right now with human trafficking in Canada that's not talked about on the news.
Yeah.
I don't know about Alberta where you're at, but out here, I live near the 401 highway, and there's young girls going missing like almost weekly now that we see that they get picked up by somebody and, hey, come to Toronto and party with us, and they go missing,
Yep.
and it's just becoming a thing, right? And it's not talked about in the states. You and I were traveling in the States. There were signs everywhere for human trafficking. Canada, I've never seen a single sign about it. Awareness, what to look for, you know? So things like that are all going to be on the Dark Album, and they're all going to be social issues and double meanings. And I think that's a thing that just a lot of artists don't talk about. So that's all about the lyrics. So you get a bullshit sing along album, you get an album all about the lyrics, you get a 90s album, and you get an album about parenting. And I think it's important, as an artist to do that.
It's important to be relatable and captivate different audiences because, like if Taylor Swift can do 4 albums in 5 minutes, then so can anybody else. But does everybody like all her songs? No.
Well, if you're a Swiftie, you'd like all her songs, whether it's good or bad or the ugly.
Really, no
I think
Swift.
she's a great performer. I'll leave it at that. I
She's a
think
person.
she's a great performer. She's got a kind heart. She's very, very nice to her staff. Um, you know, am I a fan of her voice, her actual voice? Not really. It's not really my like thing that I would listen to, but I think she's great at performing, and she's got a crazy following, and she's doing a lot of good in the world, and giving money to their staff and donating to every food bank she goes to in every town. Like she does a lot of cool stuff. Like I have a lot of respect for Taylor Swift. Would I go to her concert? Probably not, right? I'm rooting her on from the outside, but I know so many people that are Swifties that, whether it's a good song, a bad song, every song is about some boy that broke her heart, I think.
Yeah.
I said this like 15 years ago. I mean, she needs to write an album called Maybe I'm the Problem. Um, but then she came out with that song last year. She came out with a song. I can't remember it now,
It's
but it's
me,
something along those lines.
that thing. You heard
I don't
it.
know. It's something along the lines of like, I'm the problem or something.
It's
Yeah.
me. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Rudy,
Yeah.
as we wrap things up today, where can people follow you and connect with you at?
Yeah, 100%. So for show dates and just kind of general news, you can go to rudygunn.com, RUDYGUNN. You can find me on Spotify and Apple Music, Rudy, RUDYGUNN. And if you're around the Ontario area, we're doing lots of shows out here. We're going to be doing shows out west in the near future as well. Um, just check out on social media. Just type my name in Google. You'll find so much stuff. Um, good, bad, the ugly. You're going to find everything from, the things that I talk about that people don't dare talk about. And I'm a real person, man. I'm a real person with real feelings and real things. I call out things as I see them, and it doesn't always work in my favor. But that's why I'm just me, you know. I
Yeah.
don't try to be somebody else, and that's that. I will never change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the one thing I do love about you is that if you want someone to be honest with you, you just call Rudy. So,
Yeah, I'll tell you what I think, and you don't have to agree with me. I'll just tell you what my thoughts are on it, and you go, "Oh, I never thought about it that way," or you go, "This guy's crazy," or you go, "You know what? I think he's on to something." And I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not in any like crazy stuff. I'm neither left. I'm not right. I'm in the middle. I just think we should be a good person. I just want to live in a country where, I can build a decent career, make a decent amount of income, live without having to worry about paying my bills, not have to have 17 jobs to pay for food. I just want to be able to live in a country where I can raise a family and, where I don't have to worry about my daughter or my son or whatever getting kidnapped in our neighborhood. I just think that we should all strive to be a good person, no matter what your political views are or what your background is or which country you came from. I'm an immigrant to Canada. I came here when I was 13. This country was built on immigrants, right? So I'm never gonna say like stop immigration. I think we need to screen a little bit better. Maybe we letting in a lot of crime that maybe shouldn't be here. But if you want to come to Canada for a better life, come to Canada for a better life. Build what you can build here. The opportunity is here. The opportunity is in North America. It's here. But let's all respect each other and let's all treat each other with kindness. Be your own person. Never change who you are.
yeah, I love that. And we'll also put it all in the show notes, you guys. So don't worry if you didn't catch all that. It will be typed out. You can search it. And I just wanted to say thank you for taking the time today. Thank you for joining me on the podcast today. It's an honor to have you here, and I'm sure we'll do more in the future.
Yeah, and if I get canceled for anything I said on this podcast, I'm not sorry. So thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries.